South Dakota making plans for opioid settlement money, fighting addiction, a Sioux Falls Encampment ordinance, and looking at back-to-school temperatures and your back-to-school photos. This is Inside the Newsroom, and I'm your host, Maddie Paul. Inside the Newsroom, we bring you the trending stories of the KELOLAND area, and we bring in our newsroom staff members to talk about these stories that you see every day on our newscasts and on KELOLAND.com. You heard a little bit about what we're going to expect for the rest of the show, but let's start off with what you're going to hear with our leading story. Records show that Homeland Secretary Noem has used a Coast Guard jet to fly to South Dakota several times. And our digital reporter, Ray Yost, looked into a little bit of this research to see what has been going on with this jet and Noem. So, Ray, what kind of timeline do we know about Noem using this Coast Guard jet?
Yeah, so she was appointed the end of January. So you're looking at January through end of July, early August. So that's roughly 6-7 months that she's used the Coast Guard jet to come back to South Dakota.
And The Hill had done a story on this, which kind of caught our attention a little bit. But when we heard about this, did you hear anything about Homeland officials saying anything regarding this situation with Noem?
Well, they had spoken originally to the Post, the Washington Post, which did a story, and I included some of that information. And then they reached out during my time working on the story to say, hey, this isn't unusual. Homeland Security officials, like the Secretary, use the Coast Guard jet because of various reasons, and that they are required to reimburse the federal government for that use when it's a personal trip.
Oh, okay. And, is there any other federal guidelines that you found or justifications for Noem to use this jet?
Well, what DHS said was similar to what I had found. It confirmed it. I was looking through, actually found an Office of the Inspector General that did a review back in 16-17 and released that in early 2018 about the use of the DH Secretary and eventually the Deputy Secretary about Coast Guard aircraft for personal use. So that confirmed that. They can use the Coast Guard aircraft for personal trips because often it's a matter of security. They need secure communications, and because they have a lot of people traveling with them. And to me, it would just seem that, when you have a lot of people traveling, you need that security. In other words, it makes sense to travel on a government jet a little quicker, which is one reason, too, that's listed within the Office of Regulations and in that review that they stated is because they may have to fly back quickly to respond either to something needing to be in D.C. or perhaps needing to be somewhere around the country to respond quickly. So those are major reasons. And it's not unusual, at least since 2004, presidents have extended the ability for the DHS secretaries, such as Noem, to use those federal government, particularly Coast Guard aircraft, for personal trips.
You put a lot of research into your story. So what do you want viewers to take away from all that information? Well,
basically what I wrote was able to find out. I think the question, you need to answer questions like, how is this allowed? Why would they want to do this? Who pays for this? And, the DH Secretary, Noem, or whoever was before her that did something similar, does need to reimburse the federal government for this use. And she has reimbursed tens of thousands of dollars, I was told by the DHS, for this. So really, I think the questions people, is this allowed? Why is it allowed? And who pays for this?
Right. Ray, thank you so much for joining us here at the Digital Desk to give more details about your story. And viewers, stick around. Coming up next on Inside the Newsroom, we're looking at Marty Jackley's announcement with some big city mayors of South Dakota as they make plans for opioid settlement money. Stay with us. We have another reporter joining us next on Inside the Newsroom. Welcome back to Inside the Newsroom. The Attorney General and the mayors of two of the largest cities in South Dakota have a new plan to fight drug addiction. So Tom Hansen has the story.
The Attorney General, Sioux Falls Mayor Paul Tenhaken, and Rapid City Mayor Jason Solomon are teaming up to fight drug addiction. South Dakota is collecting an estimated $79 million from companies which perpetuated the opioid crisis in their quest for profit. Jackley says he expects additional settlements.
There will be more funds that become available, but to ensure that those dollars come in and they get put to the best use we can in South Dakota to address addiction. And that's really where the mayors come in. They have the ability, they know their communities, they know the state, they have the ability and the infrastructure to put these dollars to use now.
Mayor Tenhaken says there are programs like The Link in Sioux Falls and the Care Campus in Rapid City already in place to help those with substance abuse disorders.
So I want to really stress that we have existing programs that we can pour gas on to continue to grow the treatment options.
For Mayor Solomon, fighting addiction is personal. He has a brother who has struggled with drug addiction, and he believes the settlement dollars could have a huge impact on everyone, not just those fighting addiction.
It's a big deal. Talking to our police chief, our sheriff in Pennington County, we know that much of our crime is driven due to substance abuse.
Jackley says a legislative committee will be involved in deciding how the money is spent, and he plans to lobby hard to get the money released now rather than later.
It's time that we move forward as a state, and this is the best opportunity again to address a crisis that is occurring today and to not wait till tomorrow.
Both mayors agree.
And I appreciate the urgency around this issue because it's an urgent topic.
The next step is asking lawmakers to free up the money.
And Tom Hansen joins us now at the digital desk. Tom, I want to start by asking, as you were at that news conference that happened yesterday morning, what was the atmosphere like in the room, and what were you witnessing as people were reacting before the conference started and then afterwards?
Before, it was just a gathering of a lot of journalists, and a lot of people were there. A lot of journalists were there, so I did notice that. Sometimes you show up to these events and it's just us or just a couple, but there were a lot of people there. Once the Attorney General started speaking, at one point I noticed he talked about how urgent the need was, and I saw both mayors nodding their heads. And I picked up on that, and I thought, the urgency is kind of the key here. These guys want this money released. None of the money's been spent yet. They want this money released so that they can start hitting this problem.
And it sounded like, Mayor Solomon, given his own personal story and the connection to his brother fighting addiction, and then Mayor Paul Tenhaken showing that there are resources in the community now. As you were just saying, it seems like this is very personal for our mayors who want to be affected by this money coming in. Was that something that you wanted to stand out in the story?
Absolutely. I spoke with Mayor Solomon afterwards, and we just had a little one-on-one conversation. I lived out in Rapid City for years back in the 80s, and so I have a personal connection to that city. And he did share with me, that his brother had gone through, everyone has those. Not everyone, but a lot of us have family members who have gone down the wrong path. Yeah. And he has a brother who did that, and it was a meth addiction. And the brother's doing well and recovering. He's in prison, but he's doing well, according to Jason. And I think anyone who has that personal connection has seen good people go down the wrong path. They want to make sure that something gets done. And I think that's why he's got this personal connection to making sure that this money gets released and does help people, because you want to help. And this is one of the things they said. You want to help people before they get addicted too. Not only treatment, but prevention. And that's where, organizations like Emily's Hope can really come in, because they're getting out in those schools and doing a lot of that prevention.
Bringing a lot of awareness to some topics that people don't usually talk about or are afraid to talk about. These officials really want to fight addiction here in South Dakota. And it sounds like, to my understanding, and you correct me if I'm wrong, their expectation is to pour money into addiction centers and resources that do help prevent or fight addiction. Is this true?
Right. That established centers like the Compass Center and the Care Center out in Rapid City, they're already doing great work. Yeah. And I think Mayor Paul Tenhaken said, pour gasoline on those institutions and really bolster what they're doing, because they can do more, he said, if they get the resources. So it's up to lawmakers to release that money. There's a 22-member legislative committee that has the purse strings. So the Attorney General is going to lobby hard to get some of that money released. There's 79,000 total, 31's in there right now, and they'd like to make a big impact.
Thanks for giving that timeline. And is there anything else that you think our viewers should know about you putting this story together, or any other information that you think we should know?
I don't know. There was, as I was putting it together, there's so much information.
Yes.
It was one of those stories where I'm trying to really figure out what's the most important thing to put in this story, because I probably could have done 3 different stories with all the information we had.
No kidding. But it really humanized it, and I liked that you included the personal touches. But today you're kind of switching gears. What story are you working on for tonight?
Today, well, if you've driven down Cliff Avenue in Sioux Falls, you know that there's a lot of orange cones and a lot of,
Broken road?
Yeah. So they finally got it open, 1 lane both ways, just in time for Lincoln High School's first day of school. So we're going to talk to parents and students and see how things went.
I'm excited to see that reaction. Well, Tom, thank you so much for joining us here at the Digital Desk. And viewers, stick around, because up next, we're looking at a Sioux Falls ordinance that just passed that affects some public outings and people who are in homeless situations. So stay with us. We're going to have a reporter join us next on Inside the Newsroom. Welcome back to Inside the Newsroom. The Sioux Falls City Council has passed an ordinance that bans tents, dwellings, or encampments in public places. So Dan Santella breaks down what comes next.
This new policy could very well impact someone who can't count on a steady roof over their head. It's possible he or she finds refuge in a local shelter, but that might not be the answer for everyone.
Sometimes they're not, because sometimes they've been trespassed from a shelter because of their behavior. Sometimes they have trauma in their previous life, in their past, that makes it hard for them to experience what it's like to be in these loud, shared spaces.
Deacon Mara Stilson is a leader with Church on the Street, a Sioux Falls nonprofit which works with people living with homelessness or poverty. She points out that someone without their own shelter still has their own name and identity.
And as we drive through downtown Sioux Falls, we see people who have names. And I know the names of the people that we encounter and that we share stories with and that we hear stories of, but even my 10-year-old now can see people on the street and knows this is so-and-so and cares about people who have names, who have feelings.
The new policy requires the city to attempt to connect someone with an organization that helps people battling homelessness. Additionally, at least a 24-hour delay is required before the city could remove a temporary dwelling. Michelle Treasure with the city says both cleaning up and helping someone find a secure place for belongings are part of the equation.
What has worked in the past is that, especially if it's active and that there's someone living there, that we engage that person in cleaning some of that stuff up and allow for them to keep what they need and what they want, hopefully pick up some of that extra debris or trash.
After the City Council approved the proposal last night, the ordinance goes into effect on Thursday, September 11th. But Treasure says not to expect a big change in policy.
September, 12th comes, you're not going to see these teams of people out putting stickers on, people's dwellings or whatever we may find that day.
And Dan Santella joins us at the Digital Desk now to talk more about this story because, Dan, your story covers a lot of points. We're humanizing people and we're bringing awareness to this new ordinance. And I just wanted to ask, how did you want to break down your story to help our viewers understand all these different points as you were writing?
The city has a very clear idea of how it sees this topic. But as we've seen from public input at recent Sioux Falls City Council meetings, many in the public have a very different perspective. So it was essential in covering this to have both those sides, right? Michelle Treasure, Homelessness Services Coordinator with the city, one perspective, and then Deacon Mara Stilson with Church on the Street as well, with a different perspective. She's told me that she doesn't see eye to eye with the city on this ordinance. They had to capture both of those. We followed this. I've done several stories on this when it was going through the process as a proposal. Well, now it's an ordinance, and we kind of knew we wanted to do this story because, now that it's an ordinance, the natural ensuing question is what comes next.
Right.
And so that's what we wanted to address that.
Right. Dan, could you lift up your microphone just a little bit closer? Perfect. And your headline for the story is exactly that, what comes next with this encampment ordinance? Because as you were just saying, you've been following this timeline for a long time. So because you've been following this story, is there anything new that stood out to you or something that was surprising as you made this next story?
Not really surprising, no. I think, and I used it in that last quote from Treasurer. It's not like come, mid-September, they're just going to have people going out there slapping stickers on encampments and starting the process 24 hours. That's all you got, and then it's time to go. No. And Treasurer had said that, this isn't going to be a massive change in policy. So that wasn't surprising or anything, but I think, it bared mention in the story.
Absolutely. And is there anything else that you'd like our viewers to know about putting the story together or what you've learned about this ordinance as you just keep creating these stories?
Well, I think it reminds me covering these stories that what the city and what the taxpayers have to say about something that doesn't always align, right? We saw a lot of people at public input raising their opposition to this ordinance. And it was interesting, the city council, they passed it 7-1, but you certainly didn't see that 7-1 ratio represented amongst the people who spoke out at public input. So that was interesting. And it's when doing these stories, you have to cover multiple bases, right? You have to, follow what's happening at city council and then talk to people in interviews afterwards.
Right. And then Dan, what story are you working on for tonight?
I am doing a story about a protest outside the office of South Dakota Representative Dusty Johnson in downtown Sioux Falls today on a busy thoroughfare coinciding with a National Day of Recognition. So that was interesting. Talked to some people there. I'm also going to be seeking comments from Dusty Johnson's office as well.
Excellent. Dan, thank you so much for joining us here at the Digital Desk. And viewers, stick around because coming up next, today was the first day for back to school in the Sioux Falls School District. And we looked at some back to school temperatures as you're going along and reactions to some first day of school photos. So stick around. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Inside the Newsroom. Now, I've been saving this till the end of the show, and I wanted our meteorologist, Scott Munt, to be here as I reveal this. Scott, I have a surprise for you.
What do you have?
Well, today is the first day of back to school for the Sioux Falls School District. I was a part of the Sioux Falls School District growing up, so I want to show you my back to school photos.
Okay, please do.
We're traveling back in time. I'm serious. This is some old photos.
Oh, that a Hello Kitty backpack?
Look at this one. This is when I had my traumatizing haircut. The 4th grade haircut is what I call it because I had very long hair. And then I was like, I just want to chop it all off. And so my mom took me to the salon and they certainly did what I requested and gave me a little bob. But I have curly hair, so it shrunk 5 more inches up. And so I went to school in my little pink outfit, as you saw, and just got ridiculed for my haircut. I felt so not cute. But this one is my 1st grade photo, and I was killing it with the jean skirt and the Mary Janes and the Hello Kitty backpack. So these are my back to school photos. And on our website, there's a fun little feature where we see our newsroom staff members' back to school photos. Are you familiar with this, Scott?
Yes, that's the video that you could hit that says weather in 90.
And we're moving on.
Go ahead and click on it.
Well, I'm going to go back to school first, Scott. This is what this is about. So on our news section on our website, there's this back to school section. You can go ahead and click on it. If you're watching and you need some more information about going back to school for the season, resources and everything else that you need, or when school starts, here's all of our lists that shows you all those dates. And we want to see your photos. We have this excellent option called You Share that's on our website. And here's the email for it right here that has you submit photos and videos to us here at KELOLAND News, and we'd love to react to these photos, right, Scott?
Yes.
So
let's go ahead and go through.
Let's go through our first ones. I want to make sure I'm not spoiled. At the bottom, it shows who it is. So I'm going to test Scott to see if he knows our newsroom staff members' little photos. Here's our first one.
Grant Sweeter.
How do you know that?
I can tell.
You could just tell right there.
The glasses.
That is Grant Sweeter on his first day of kindergarten. Here's our next photo. Yeah, come on.
Oh.
I should time you. 5.
Lauren.
Yeah. How'd you know that? This is Lauren in her 1st grade photo. She looks so cute. Little Bob. See, we all got the little Bob. Okay, who's this one?
Kelly.
Wow. Wait, you're good at this. You are just nailing it.
Don?
It's not Don.
Not Don. Who would that be?
It's someone that you adore so heavily. And they sit right next to our digital station here.
Tom Hansen.
That is Tom Hansen.
He's gone.
Yeah, he's not there.
There
right
he
now.
is. He came behind the curtain. Like the Wizard of Oz.
Look at that.
There he is. Yeah.
He's back behind the set.
You need to wear that bow tie on air. Do you still have that?
It's a great bow tie. I love his little big eyes.
Suspenders too.
All right, Scott, come on. We got to focus. We got to focus.
That's Santella.
That is. And this is, does it say it's a senior photo?
I think that soccer ball's next to his desk.
Is it? Okay, we'll have to go look at that later. It's a different soccer ball, Dan just yelled. How are you knowing these so fast? It took me a second.
Because of the Star Wars shirt he has.
I see. Dead giveaway.
Oh, that's BK.
Okay. If you didn't know that one, that would have been crazy. How about this one?
Would that one be Don?
This is Don.
Okay.
Look at his little eyes. He looks so cute. Come on.
That's PG.
Yeah, that's Perry Groten.
That's his University of Minnesota ID.
That's so crazy. Look at him. I love his hair. He looks great.
Oh, he hasn't changed.
Nope, not a bit. This one's a hard one. I didn't get this one when I was looking at it. I'll be shocked if you get this.
It's got to be Eric.
How did you get that? You're right. It is Eric.
Because I did it with the run, and he runs the...
I'm surprised you got that.
The website department.
Yes. This is my manager. I literally had no idea that was Eric. Because I was just saying, I kept thinking, I don't know who I was thinking it was when Gracie and I were looking at these photos. You did a great job, Scott.
Well, you want to know my secret? I looked at these before.
Come on. This is why I'm not telling you what we're doing before we start the show. But again, viewers, if you want to send us your back to school photos, go ahead and do it. We have this excellent thing called YouShare. You can email us right here at this email. Otherwise, I'm going to show you how to do it on the website real quick before Scott talks about more back to school temperatures.
Okay.
There's an about section on our page on KELOLAND.com. If you go ahead and drop down on there, you can go to YouShare. Just click on that, and it takes you to this page where you can easily upload all your photos and videos and just give us a little bit of information about what you're sending to us and how we can reach out to you. And then, of course, just consenting that you read the license agreement so that we can use these photos and react to them in such a fun little way. We love this. This can be for anything. If you got weather, if you got garden pictures, if you got your back to school photos, just send it. We want to see it. And then we can do segments like these where we just go ahead and react to all of them. But Scott, more importantly now, back to school season means back to school temperatures. And we already talked about the 40s.
Yeah, and you think of fall weather. You know, today's first day for Sioux Falls Public.
Yep.
And it's warm. It's a little humid.
Warm.
Hot.
All right.
Okay.
It was cold this morning. Well, when you're going to school, it's cold. But then when you're coming out of school, much warmer. Okay. Much warmer.
Oh, I cannot wait for our conversation on Monday and Tuesday.
I'm not...
Let's go ahead and put up the weather graphics.
Okay, I'll be quiet.
Okay, here we go. Here's a look at Sunday's forecast. Temperatures in the morning. Do you have a fireplace in your house?
I should. I'm about to install one.
You check your furnace, heater work okay? You have an electric blanket?
I do have, yes. Yep, I have one here at work, and then I do have one at home. For moments like these, Scott.
Okay, we'll see what happens early next week, but 50, okay, that's very cold for you.
That's super cold.
Upper 40s, eastern, northeastern, South Dakota. Monday, middle 40s.
Okay.
And I think Monday's the day where the record low temperature in Sioux Falls is 40.
Oh, whoa. That's
so we'll continue
crazy.
to watch this number.
Okay.
See how far it falls, if it continues to fall. But right now it's looking like temperatures in the middle 40s in eastern South Dakota Monday morning. We'll slowly try to get out of this as we do go through the work week, but we could still see temperatures in the middle 40s on Tuesday morning. And this is when we'll have afternoon highs early next week, probably in the 60s for some, eastern, northeastern, South Dakota, 70s for many. And that will continue into Tuesday, and then we'll slowly get back to average, which is around 80, 81 degrees in Sioux Falls as we go through the work week.
Okay.
We'll get those numbers to slowly warm, and as we hit the tail end of the work week, probably have a number near 80 degrees for a high, which on the last day of August is the climate average high, 80 degrees.
80 degrees? Mm-hmm. Do you know what August 30th will look like yet?
August 30th?
Mm-hmm. Specifically?
What do you have going on?
It may just be a really important birthday or something like that.
Oh, my goodness. Will you be here on your birthday?
It's going to be a Saturday, so hopefully I won't be at work.
Okay, all right. Because I always tell my wife and my family, you don't take your birthday off of work. You take the day after.
Oh, I thought you were about to say the week off.
Off of work. Are you coming back the following week?
We'll see how the birthday goes.
See how the birthday goes?
We'll see
you
how
have
the
plans
birthday's
for
going.
it?
Not right now. I'm not a big birthday planner. And also it kind of snuck up on me because I was already on vacation last week. And that was the big focus for me. So coming back, I'm like, oh, now I have a birthday to worry about. But it's my own. And so I'm like.
So it's the 30th. So this would be the Labor Day weekend.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Wow, good for you.
I know. I hope is the state fair going to start here in South Dakota? Maybe I can do some state fair or maybe plan at least for the South Dakota. I've never been to the South Dakota State Fair.
Well, you should go then.
I know. I think that might be it. Because this weekend I'm doing the Minnesota State Fair.
Ooh.
Big get together. Is that what they call it? Something like that. Minnesota get together.
Okay.
Biggest one.
Going with a lot of friends, family?
Of course. And this is the opening weekend too. And I didn't realize that until recently when there was because I was looking at tickets last night and they had their pre-sale that ended yesterday. And I didn't buy the tickets. Okay. I didn't buy them. I didn't want the discounted price. I don't know.
No, that's all right.
I was just like, would rather pay when I'm there instead of printing out my tickets or
that's
having
on my
work.
Phone.
Way too much work.
Much work.
I like little
cash.
convenience. Yeah, exactly. It would just been $3, but whatever. I'm excited.
It could have been $3 that you spend on food.
I know, because that's why you go to fairs. Right? I don't know. Yeah, exactly. Try little drinks and some food and walk around a lot because you walk a lot.
Right.
So it's like you're walking it off and then you just eat a little bit more.
Eat a little bit more. Okay.
Yeah, that's how I look at it. Well, we got our back to school temperatures. We reacted to some back to school photos. We talked about my weekend plans, I guess, made this about me at the end, Scott.
That's fine.
You like that?
This is your show. I'm just a guest.
That's right. That's right. Well, we're wrapping up the show now, Scott. So thank you for joining Scott Munt. And then thank you all for watching Inside the Newsroom today. I hope you had fun looking at all the trending stories in the area. Also getting ready for back to school and almost ending August on a cold note. But we're going to have more Inside the Newsroom tomorrow at 1 o'clock. So until then, have a great day, everyone.